Yeah. Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll explain everything. All right. Right now I am at the Manhattan Ferry and I'm waiting to get on, but there's a gentleman that, really nice guy. I love him to death. Now, every weekend, every Saturday, when I take the bus, he's usually waiting and he tells me gives me a lot of different scriptures to read. He really tells me about the Word of God. I love this guy. I've been seeing him for months. He's an awesome dude. But my vegans. Today I noticed, now he's about 78 years old and he looks really healthy. Oh man, he's in great shape. He looks good. Well, today he decided to tell me some jokes while we wait for the bus, and it was the bus was a little bit later because the holiday schedule is July 4th weekend, so the bus was running a little different. It came a little later, so he had plenty of time to really talk to me today. So I noticed as I sat down, right after I shook his hand, I noticed that his nose right underneath, you know how when somebody has their nose is dripping and they got that little drip just hanging at the bottom of their nostril, just ready to drip and fall? Well, I noticed after I shook his hand, mind you, after your boy shook his hand, that he went and said, and you know, I'm doing it with my left hand because I'm holding the camera with my right, but he did it with his right hand. The same, yeah, you got it. The same hand that he shook my hand with. And I watched the technique, and I got some big hands, you know, I got some really big hands here, so my hand wraps around the average person's hands, man. I ain't really seen too many people with hands bigger than mine. And long story short, so even if he did it on the back of his hand, my hand done wrapped around and touched that. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute, because once I sat there, shook his hand, sat down, noticed that it was dripping, saw him, and the wetness that flicked from his hand and everything. And then as he's talking, he's getting into these jokes, and he was telling me so many jokes. I mean, the jokes were, let me wait for a minute because it's a little noisy with the children here right now. But as I noticed that my man was really getting into the jokes, told me a lot of jokes. I'm sitting there and I'm looking straight ahead now, and I'm just like thinking in my head like, oh, this man will put his germs on me, man. So he's sniffling and he's talking, it's just dripping, it's just running, and he's wiping with that right hand. So I already got it set up, so I said, you know, on the bus, he gets off right before me, that I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, I'll say, all right, I'll see you next week, you know, where I don't have to shake his hand anymore. I already was planning and plotting that. But as he's telling me these jokes, my vegans, as he's telling me these jokes, and he's getting into the jokes, was pretty good, but as he's telling me the jokes, he's sniffling, dripping, wiping, splatting all over the place. But on top of all that, my vegan, oh, my boy, was, you know, when a person has bad breath and they talk like all in your face, extra close and everything like that. Well, this dude, it wasn't about bad breath. This dude kept flicking and wiping that right hand, wet and dripping like a faucet, and here it comes, y'all. He kept touching my shoulder. I say, my man kept touching my shoulder, B. Like, it was crazy, y'all. Like, For one thing, he touched the bare skin one time, and then the other times he kept touching and grabbing on my shoulder, and I didn't want to like pull away or nothing like that or whatever, but and I didn't want to disrespect him, but come on, like that was really, oh man, that was nuts, man. It was a tight situation. So I just came from the bathroom. That's where you just see me come from the bathroom, and I just had to wash my hands and wipe off and my arm and everything, because that was really something else. So the thing that I want to know is, what would y'all do in that situation? You feel me? Religious dude, give me different scriptures and lessons and messages. Awesome guy, I love him to death. But that nose just was dripping away, boy. Shook the hand. Then on top of that, nothing I could do about shaking the hand because I didn't know until I walked up on him after and sat down and everything. But the fact that his nose was dripping and he kept touching me with the nose that dripped, like what would y'all do? But like I said, you don't want to like really disrespect anybody, but I didn't have any tissues to give him. Leave in the comments below, man. Let your boy know. Let your boy know what you would have did. Crazy situation for me, man. It was tight. Thanks for watching. That's how I started my holiday weekend, y'all. The drips be, I say, the drips.